Hi, Magic fans! We're talking really quickly about the guild mechanics got spoiled. Now, the streams that spoiled this is still going on. Right now, I'm talking about guild packs. I don't think they're going to be spoiling any special cards from the set at all, so which bums me out, but whatever. We'll probably get that over the weekend because PAX West. But we have the guild mechanics. Now, Convoke is coming back for Selesnya. As for those of you who know, Convoke is basically you have a card that has a Convoke cost as well as its regular cost. You can basically tap a certain amount of creatures, and they all act as mana cost for the creature as well as Convoke cost, so they combine for that. What they did say though was that you will get cards that will reward you for how many creatures you tap for. So if you tap 3 creatures for Convoke, something happens 3 times. So you will get. So I'm guessing there's going to be things like life gain and tokens, things along those lines. Now we do have one creature already spoiled for this, and it is Impervious Greatwurm, a 3 green, 7 of any color, so a 10 mana creature. 16/16 Convoke Indestructible. So it's a great chumpy monster beater. It even Here's the thing about this: is that this thing even dwarfs Well, it doesn't dwarf. It's even bigger than Emrakul's 15/15. Indestructible. You can't destroy it. Great. All you gotta do is pacify it, and there you go. Or exile it, and there you go. Unsummon it, there you go. But still, great. I love big, fatty, meaty creatures. It's got Convoke as well. My issue with this is like what a lot of people are saying. Is like, why doesn't this have Trample? Would that have just made it too much of a instant win kill kind of thing? Or is there like more of a story reason for this being indestructible? I mean, they say impervious, so I understand. Obviously, making indestructible and trample probably would just put it well too over the threshold. This thing's going to trample over everything. You can chump block it and still not destroy it. This thing's just going to get chump blocked all day. Doesn't mean I won't still use it, but the thing's going to get chump blocked all day. Then we have the Boros mechanic. This one's interesting. Mentor. When a creature with Mentor attacks, another attacking creature with lesser power gets a +1/+1 counter. So if you remember the Tarkir block, you remember Bolster was the Obzon mechanic. Essentially, when the creature came out, it put a +1/+1 counter on a creature with the lowest toughness, whether it be itself or something else. This, I kind of get a similar vibe, except now it's an attacking mechanic, and it's a creature with power because Boros cares about power more than toughness. So I can see some more shenanigans being done with this, particularly because it's an attacking mechanic, so you have to respond to it a bit more immediately, whereas with the Obzon, you could take your time a bit more. This one is like, okay, because you can keep attacking and keep setting off the chain of command. With Bolster, sometimes you can keep doing it, other times it's just, okay, this thing came out in the field. But this thing is, you need to stop Boros from attacking, otherwise you're going to wind up with a serious problem on your hand. Dimir has surveil. To me, it's surveil, not survey, but surveil. Basically, it's a graveyard scry to describe. You scry the top cards off your deck, whatever the number may be. They alluded to that there's numbers beyond 3, but instead of putting something on the bottom of your deck, you put it in your graveyard instead. Now, if you were running something like Delirium, some sort of graveyard mechanic, trying to get things in the graveyard, like say Izzet's ability or Golgari's ability that we're getting to right here. I can see it working with graveyard shenanigans. I prefer Scry because I don't actually lose anything in my deck, but at the same time, I can see where people would like this because there's a lot of players who like graveyard shenanigans. Izzet's ability, which I think, along with Golgari's, I think is probably my 2 favorite abilities shown. Is Jumpstart. Jumpstart is cast an instant or sorcery spell from the graveyard. You pay its mana cost, and you have to discard a card from your hand. You exile the card afterwards. It's essentially it's a different variation on Flashback, where Flashback you could just cast the card from your graveyard just for a different mana cost. Sometimes a different colored mana cost. This one you just cast it for its mana cost, but you have to discard a card. However, this also works in favor with something like the Golgari mechanic. Now, Golgari and Izzet, unfortunately, aren't going to be really well paired because they have no color similarities with each other. But I mean, this also is just going to feel more of either your flashback or your jumpstart cards, because you're just going to be casting the jumpstart cards from the grave, and then you're going to be putting a new jumpstart card possibly into the graveyard, or you're going to be putting something else that maybe has a graveyard activated effect in the graveyard. So there's a lot of shenanigans you can do with jumpstart. The only thing I may be worried about is if I kind of not deck, but discard my hand too much, and I don't have enough to really, excuse me, really have to play later on. But obviously, you can choose when to play the cards. That's a big thing. Golgari has Undergrowth, which is bonus for the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That sound reminds me a bit of Threshold, kind of a little bit of Delirium, but clearly it's just for the number of cards in your graveyard, or number of creature cards in your graveyard, you'll get a certain type of bonus going on. So let's see when the cards actually show up what that's going to look like. But I am interested in that, definitely. But those are the cards that we have, those are the mechanics that we have for Return to or the Guilds of Ravnica. I know we'll probably have a refresher course on Monday. Apparently the spoilers aren't going to start Monday. They're going to start the week after. I'm not certain why, but okay. So we're going to have to wait one more week on that. And I should know, there is one other card that was spoiled. And this was spoiled a while ago that I didn't bother getting to, at least initially. But Macabre Hatchery, 2 black, 3 of any color for a sorcery rare. The one they showed is water stamped, basically as a pre-release card. Choose a creature card with converted mana cost 1 in your graveyard. Then do the same for a creature card with 2 or 3. Return those to the battlefield. So depending what you got in your graveyard, this thing could be a very useful card, depending what you got in there. I mean, the 1-drops, you don't get a lot of solid 1-drops, unfortunately. It sucks, but you don't. The 2-drop and the 3-drop, that could be very useful depending what you have in your graveyard. I can say I kind of dig on that. I'd have to build. It's not truly a build around me card, but it's a card that you have to keep in mind if you put it in your deck, that you have to have cards this card can fetch. So ultimately, yeah, I don't mind that card. I think it's an interesting idea. I think it could probably work a lot better in something like Commander, where you have a lot more cards. But truth be told, in Commander, you also have a lot of bigger cards too. So hit and miss there. Anyway, though, but that's my thoughts on the cards that have been spoiled, though. What do you think on the cards that have been spoiled? What do you think on the mechanics that have been spoiled so far? We're really early on. We'll get more coming the weekend due to PAX West and things along those lines. So we'll keep updated on that. Until then, though, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.